What are some SpaceX Starlink alternatives for rural high-speed broadband internet? I'm glad you asked. Let's go check it out. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. That smokiness of the lap song. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a tech day. I've been getting a lot of requests about, is there an alternative for Starlink? Because I currently do not have it available in my area. What can I do? A lot of folks that are in the city just look at this type of question being like, what are you talking about? Just get Comcast, just get your Xfinity or whatever. Yeah, if you are in a city, a major metropolis someplace, yes, you can get high-speed internet access without a problem by multiple carriers, and they're all competing between one another. And due to all of the competition, your prices are pretty low also, which is great. But if you are in the country, you're in a rural environment, you're in the outskirts of a city in the suburbs, let's say, well, high-speed internet access like fiber is just simply not available. It just hasn't rolled out there yet, even though they've been rolling it out, as many administrations have said, over the course of decades, not years, decades. And they've been providing a lot of money to all these companies, and a lot of these companies have failed horribly. But today we're going to be talking about what are the alternatives to Starlink if you cannot get it. Because we know the West Coast of the United States, for example, has Starlink available to them. If you want a Starlink kit today, you can order it. But if you're in the center of the United States, all the way to the East Coast and South, well, that's not the case. There is waiting lists everywhere. So it is a problem. And a lot of people have been writing in and saying, listen, Joe, is there an alternative? And that's what we're going to go into today. All of the alternatives, or the alternatives that I think are the best for you and I and me. Moi. Anyways, before we get into it, I want to say that if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks as of yet, go check them out. They are free. Go over to JCristina.com/books. Also, if you like this video, even at least throw it a thumbs up. That would be very, very helpful. Share it with your community. Share it with your friends, all of your colleagues. Share it on Reddit. Share it on Facebook, wherever you can share it. Let's grow this channel. Also, if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. And if you are subscribed, click this little button over here. So when I go live or when a new video comes out, you will be notified of it immediately. And if you want more Starlink specific content, there's about 171 videos specifically on Starlink that I've made out of the 1,000 videos on this channel. And I put together a playlist. So click over here later, not now. Finish watching the video. When you're done with the video, click there and you'll see a ton of helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, hints, what to do, what not to do, what to buy, what not to buy, and most importantly, why. So definitely go and check that out. So let me start out by saying, if you have HughesNet, it's complete trash. And if you can get Starlink, just dump HughesNet. Also, this holds true if you have ViaSat. ViaSat is another geocentric or geolocated, non-terrestrial, high-speed internet access, high-speed in quotes. All right. It's very expensive and the speeds are pretty slow and the latency is extremely high. So I would consider ViaSat as another garbage internet service provider. Now, bear in mind, before Starlink came out, ViaSat and HughesNet were definitely options for people that were in a rural environment. You're on a mountain, you're somewhere, once again, on the outskirts of a city, ViaSat or HughesNet was definitely an option. But it was an expensive one, and I'll get into that in just a second. I was reading an article about ViaSat. This just came out this morning, and I want to read just a short portion of this article because I think that it is not only interesting, it shows the direction that these geocentric and let's call them geolocated satellite providers in comparison to LEO or low Earth orbit or closer to the Earth satellite providers are going. And I believe they are going the way of the dinosaur. That's my personal opinion. Now, this article starts out by saying, Viasat is holding off on a contingency plan for Viasat 3 Americas in hopes hopes it could still get some capacity from the broadband satellite despite its defective antenna, the operator chair and CEO Mark Dankberg said yesterday. So they have a defective antenna on this ViaSat 3 Americas, this satellite. And if you remember, maybe you don't, I spoke about this as being a satellite that was launched into orbit on the back of who? Elon Musk, right? They commissioned SpaceX to get their satellite into orbit. Unlike Bezos, right? Jeff still needs to make that call. He needs to make that call. Anyways, the article continues, engineers have been able to get end-to-end measurements showing the rest of the satellite is operating. But while, quote, the fact that we can communicate through it is hopeful, he said more data is needed to determine whether ViaSat will ultimately get little or no capacity from this satellite, or something closer to the 1 terabit per second it had been expecting. Not happening. ViaSat expects to have enough data by its next earnings announcement in November to move forward with one of multiple contingency plans it has in the works to cover this wide range of potential scenarios. They finalize with options include building a replacement from scratch, buying capacity from other operators, or possibly relocating one of the 2 up-and-coming ViaSat 3 satellites to cover the Americas instead of elsewhere. Guys, this ViaSat 3 Americas, it has a defective antenna. The only thing this satellite is going to be possibly capable of is maybe becoming like a snow cone maker. Right? And you can have like aliens or maybe some astronauts that are doing spacewalks pull up to this ViaSat 3 and grab maybe a banana or cherry or possibly a lime or lemon, or my favorite, a grape snow cone. That's about all you're going to be able to get out of this satellite. That's it. My personal opinion with HughesNet as well as ViaSat, they're going to go the way of the dinosaur in the not so distant future. So if you have ViaSat or if you have HughesNet, look at moving into a different provider. Maybe one of the providers or one of the options that I give you here in this video. Now, the current option that I'm using is obviously SpaceX Starlink, but as a backup, I'm using T-Mobile Home Internet. Now, T-Mobile Home Internet is pretty damn good. I'm getting some decent speeds. I've done a bunch of videos on it. Once again, check my playlist of Starlink coverage. There's a whole bunch of T-Mobile stuff in there. T-Mobile is guaranteeing about 70 megabits to about 250 megabits down. I'm currently getting right around 120, sometimes 180, up to 200 megabits down, and I'm getting some amazing up speeds of anywhere from 30 to 40. I've even hit up to 60 megabits up, which is insane. Now remember, I have LTE, which is 4G, right? I do not have 5G. I can't even imagine 5G, how good this service would be. Now the cost on this is $50 per month or $55 a month. It's the extra $5 off if you do the online payment or the auto pay type of method. Now, if you have Magenta Max, like if you have a T-Mobile phone, they will give you this service for only $30 a month. It's unlimited internet right to your home. Now, what's amazing here is this is 5G based fixed wireless service. It is a fixed wireless service. So you get a router and it attaches or it connects to a uplink or a tower in your area. So if you have a T-Mobile tower nearby, this will work for you. Now, the next option would be Verizon Home Internet. It's basically a carbon copy of the T-Mobile. $50 a month if you auto pay, same unlimited. The speeds are up to 300 megabits down. But remember, your speeds are going to vary based on how close you are to your tower and if the tower is a 5G tower or is it a 4G tower? The tower near me is currently a 4G LTE tower with 5G coming before the end of the year. So I'm excited about that. So that is going to play a big part in how fast your internet goes. Now, the next option is brand spanking new. It is called at&T's Internet Air. Now, what is it? Once again, it is a copy-paste, a carbon copy of T-Mobile as well as Verizon's home internet. This is just AT&T's version of it. They see that they're getting behind the 8 ball, so they're just getting on board with this 5G home internet coverage for a multitude of reasons. And I'm going to get into that in just a second. Now, the speeds that you can get with this is anywhere from 40 megabits down to 140 megabits down. This is what they claim. And the cost is $55 a month. And I'm going to guess if you auto pay it, it'll probably be $50 a month. They're probably going to make it exactly the same. So it's on par. Now, if you have at&T Uverse, or more importantly, at&T DSL, well, this is not only an alternative to you, but it is going to be the only way you're going to be able to get internet in your area coming soon with AT&T if you do not have AT&T fiber. Why do I say that? Well, AT&T is using this AT&T Internet Air as a means of replacing their DSL. Now, DSL is long in the tooth. They need to get rid of it. They are no longer, quote unquote, selling it, servicing it. They haven't been servicing it really for a long time. In my personal opinion, this AT&T Internet Air is a means of stopping the bleeding. All right, they are bleeding out customers every single day because Uverse, if you're further than, let's say, 3,000 feet plus away from the DSLAM, Uverse is extremely slow. It is crap. DSL is just absolutely crap. It is crap with a bow on top. It is so damn slow. It's basically the speeds that you would get back in the early 90s, maybe mid 90s, somewhere around there. My AT&T DSL gets about 15 megs down and 1.5 megs up. And that's with a bonded pair. That's 2 lines. So with just one line, I would be getting about 7 megs down and 0.7 megabits up. 0.7 megabits up. Not 7 megabits, 0.7, less than 1 megabit up. Complete with a cherry on top. That's what this service is. They know it, and a lot of people like myself and just probably millions others are going to other services because now T-Mobile as well as Verizon offer alternatives to rural people that are in the country or people in the outskirts of the city. Now, I have firsthand knowledge that the AT&T DSLAMs, right, which are those boxes that you see where the AT&T comes in and then they send the DSL to your home, those DSLAMs have so many red lights blinking in them, it is pathetic. Now, if you don't know what that is, the red lights, each one of those red lights that are blinking on those modems means that the modem is failing, right? It doesn't work. Yellow lights fail. The red lights, they're failed. They are no good. They are not working. So if you speak to any of the DLCs, which are digital line crew, or any other of the AT&T personnel that service these DSLAMs, they'll tell you the exact same thing that I'm telling you. These people are having to rob from Peter to pay Paul. They're literally taking good modems and moving them and swapping them around so that they can get service to the customers that are in the area. The reason being, these modems are so outdated, they can't even get replacements. And I think the sad thing about this is that AT&T has been getting millions and millions and millions of dollars to bridge the digital divide. Basically, to get the haves and the have-nots, the people that do not have high-speed internet access and the people that do, get them together so everyone has high-speed internet access. They've been getting millions of dollars from the government for so many damn years to get fiber to everyone, fiber to the home. That's what we heard that, right? For a decade, fiber to the home. Doesn't matter what administration is in there. They've been giving money upon money and money to all of these corporations to get fiber to the rural areas, not just in the metropolis, not inside the cities. That's easy, right? That's the easy part. You're getting a lot of people with just short wires. You got to run long wires to get to the suburbs, right? They don't want to do that. Even though they're getting paid all this money, they don't want to do it. And they do just enough to be able to say, yes, we laid some fiber in the last month. Well, congratulations. Where is the fiber? I've went to the AT&T website, for example, and put in my address on multiple occasions over the last 10 years, and it still says fiber is coming to me soon. Honest to God, it says coming soon for over a decade at my address. That just gives you an idea of how pathetic some of these companies are. And that's why I am a proponent of SpaceX Starlink. because Elon Musk has actually taken money from the government, but he's actually given back to the rural community. We are able to get Starlink. Now, of course, there are areas where it's not available, but I am confident as more and more version 2 satellites are put into orbit, we're going to see that waiting list area shrink more and more and more. So by the end of the year, I think a lot of people, I would say probably 80% of the United States will have SpaceX Starlink available to them, maybe by first quarter of 2024. But that's what I'm speculating. Talking about these though, when we look at the AT&T Internet Air, you need to bear something in mind. And I was reading on their website what they say here, and they say, quote, once you sign up, you can keep your DSL service active for up to 7 days while testing AT&T Internet Air. If you do not like it, you can cancel within 7 days for a full refund. What does that mean? Just think about the verbiage here. What that means is in 7 days, if you do not cancel, once you get this service, right, your DSL is gone. Keep that in mind, guys. Now, do I know this for 100%? No, but that's what it sounds like to me, reading between the lines. And AT&T is really good at this shit. They are really good at it. They are a pro at getting people that are grandfathered into one of their past services and getting them out of it. So if you are grandfathered in to DSL, you have DSL at your home, they will provide you service until they cancel DSL altogether or you freely move to another service agreement. Now, the next service agreement would be obviously the AT&T Internet Air. My personal opinion is stay away from it. If you have DSL at your location, and if you go and check your address with AT&T right now and it says internet is not available in your location, that's because DSL is not offered in your location anymore. Keep this in mind. This is mission critical. If you lose DSL, you're not getting it back. So if you have no other options, you're screwed. So in my personal opinion is keep DSL as long as you can. All right, and get either Verizon or T-Mobile home internet. That is my personal opinion. Now, could you use AT&T? Absolutely. And if you don't want DSL anymore and you have a AT&T 5G tower near you, so you're going to get really high-speed internet access with AT&T at their $55 a month, well, then go for it. But if you're not sure, and you want to try it, but make sure you discontinue that before the 7 days, or you're going to be screwed all the way around because you might not be able to get DSL any longer. Now what? All right? Be careful, guys. Be careful. So anyways, my recommendation would be T-Mobile or Verizon and like what I'm doing, get an external antenna, a MIMO antenna. I did an entire video, maybe I'll put a link to it over here. I did a whole video on how that works and how much better it is. And there's absolutely zero rain fade, which I was shocked about, whereas my Starlink goes down when it's really pouring outside, whereas the T-Mobile with that external MIMO antenna, it doesn't go down at all. So definitely check out that video because I think that should help you out. I would get the T-Mobile or the Verizon and get one of those external antennas. You will be very, very happy with it. And once you're able to get SpaceX Starlink, get it. I still think that is the best non-terrestrial option out there for high-speed internet. But if you can get T-Mobile and you can get Verizon at an actual 5G speed, it's going to be a hard call. For me, I still would get the Starlink because I like to have backups. Currently, I have Starlink as my main and I have T-Mobile as my backup. And I bond them together using Speedify. Matter of fact, there'll be a link down below if you want to check that out. We bond those together at a packet level base so we get high-speed internet and we have extremely reliable internet. Doesn't matter if one or the other goes down. And I still have my AT&T DSL, or now they call it Uverse, in operation at my location because I can't get it if I was to remove it. So I keep it, I pay the extra money per month just as a backup, a landline backup. So I actually have 3 providers at my location. Anyways, guys, I hope you found this of interest. If you have, throw the video a thumbs up. That would be awesome. Don't forget to subscribe, click this button, do all of those things. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years. And hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. That's it, guys. I'm out of here for the end of the vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.